For a long time, conversations about narcissistic abuse have focused on a general picture of the abuser. At Emotional Soulmate, the discussions have often explored narcissism without narrowing down to gender. Today, that changes. The focus here is on female narcissists, an often overlooked side of abuse that hides behind cultural stereotypes and the illusion of innocence. When the abuser is a woman, her actions are frequently dismissed or minimized, leaving victims isolated and doubted. This silence allows her to continue the cycle of control, while those who suffer struggle to be believed. Understanding this dynamic is critical because it is only by naming it that healing can begin. Stay with this video until the very end. Every part matters. The truth you will hear here may finally give you the clarity and the strength you have been searching for. The hidden face of female narcissism. Narcissism is commonly associated with men, domineering, arrogant, and controlling. The stereotype has blinded many to the fact that women, too, can embody narcissism, though often in more covert, insidious ways. Society tends to paint women as nurturing and selfless, which makes it difficult for outsiders to imagine them as emotional predators. A female narcissist may not raise her hand in anger, but she will raise doubt in your mind. Her weapons are manipulation, guilt, and calculated charm. She builds a public image of kindness and vulnerability while privately dismantling the self-esteem of her target. This duality is the reason victims so often struggle to find belief or support. To the outside world, she looks like a saint. To the victim, she feels like a storm that never ends. Why victims are rarely believed. When abuse comes from a woman, disbelief is common. Cultural expectations of women as caregivers clash with the idea of them as aggressors. This clash produces 4 major barriers to recognition. Gender stereotypes. Women are assumed to be gentler and more empathetic. When a victim claims otherwise, listeners often interpret it as exaggeration or misunderstanding. Invisible tactics. Female narcissists rarely use open violence. Instead, they rely on psychological warfare, gaslighting, passive aggression, and social manipulation. Because the scars are internal, others fail to see the damage. Societal protection of women. In disputes, observers instinctively side with the woman, especially if she has crafted a convincing public image. The victim is painted as the aggressor, fueling even deeper isolation. Lack of awareness. Research, media, and even therapy communities often highlight male narcissism while overlooking its female counterpart. This lack of recognition leaves victims without language to describe what they are experiencing. The result is devastating. Victims are left questioning their own sanity, replaying conversations, and doubting their memories. When they attempt to speak out, disbelief can compound the trauma more than the abuse itself. The tools of control. Female narcissists rely on subtle but effective tools. Understanding these methods allows victims to name the abuse and begin reclaiming power. Gaslighting, twisting reality until the victim doubts memory, perception, and judgment. Guilt tripping, making the victim feel selfish or cruel for setting boundaries. Silent treatment, using withdrawal as punishment, leaving the victim desperate to repair the connection. Triangulation, involving third parties to create jealousy, insecurity, or competition. Playing the victim, publicly portraying herself as the wounded party to gain sympathy and discredit the true victim. Each tactic chips away at the victim's sense of stability. Over time, this erodes confidence, independence, and even the will to leave. The emotional toll on victims. Surviving female narcissistic abuse is not only about enduring manipulation in the moment. It reshapes identity, self-worth, and the way victims engage with the world. Common consequences include chronic self-doubt and confusion, anxiety and hypervigilance in relationships, depression and feelings of worthlessness, social isolation due to fear of not being believed, physical stress symptoms, insomnia, headaches, fatigue. The abuse becomes a silent prison. Victims appear fine on the outside, but battle a relentless storm inside. Recognizing this toll is the first step toward healing. Breaking the silence, steps toward freedom. Escaping narcissistic abuse requires courage, preparation, and strategy. The journey is rarely quick, but it is possible. 1. Validate your experience. Trust your perception. The fact that others may not believe you does not mean your suffering is imaginary. Write down events, keep messages, and track patterns. These records are not just proof for others. They are reminders for you when doubt creeps in. 2. Establish boundaries. Boundaries are survival tools. Limit contact, reduce opportunities for manipulation, and do not explain or justify your decisions. A simple no can be powerful, even if it is met with resistance. 3. Protect mental health. Seek therapy with professionals who understand narcissistic abuse. Join support groups where your story will be recognized without disbelief. Practice grounding techniques to manage anxiety and reconnect with reality. 4. Build a safety net. Confide only in those who have earned your trust. Avoid trying to expose the narcissist to everyone. Her ability to manipulate public opinion is strong. Instead, focus on creating a circle of quiet, reliable support. 5. Plan your exit. If the relationship is intimate or domestic, leaving requires planning. Secure finances, identify safe housing, and gather essential documents. End the connection in stages if necessary, and prioritize safety over confrontation. Strategies for when escape is not possible. Sometimes the abuser is a parent, sibling, or coworker, someone you cannot entirely cut off. In these cases, strategies shift from escape to survival. Gray Rock Method. Respond with minimal emotion and bland answers, offering no fuel for manipulation. Emotional detachment. Do not seek validation from the narcissist. Recognize that empathy will not be returned. Structured communication. Keep interactions brief, factual, and necessary. Avoid sharing vulnerabilities. Self-care routines. Counterbalance the emotional drain by investing in hobbies, friendships, and personal growth outside the toxic relationship. Reclaiming power. Freedom from narcissistic abuse is not only about leaving the abuser. It is also about rebuilding identity. Victims often emerge feeling hollow, but healing allows them to rediscover strength and purpose. Self-compassion. Forgive yourself for staying, for doubting, for not seeing the signs earlier. None of it was weakness. It was survival. Reconnection. Rebuild ties with safe, supportive people. Isolation fades when genuine connections return. Personal growth. Pursue education, hobbies, or career paths that affirm autonomy and value. New boundaries. Carry lessons forward to prevent future entanglement with similar personalities. Healing is not linear. There will be days of anger, grief, and lingering confusion. Yet, With each step, the grip of the abuser weakens, and a new life emerges. Closing reflections. The image of a woman as an abuser is uncomfortable for society to accept, but denial only deepens the suffering of victims. By exposing the truth about female narcissistic abuse, silence is broken and healing becomes possible. If you have lived through this storm, know this: your pain is real, your story matters, and freedom is within reach. Every act of self-protection, every boundary drawn, and every moment spent reclaiming joy is an act of defiance against the abuse. You are not invisible, you are not alone, and you have the power to step out of the shadows into a life defined not by control, but by choice. And as always, because YouTube's algorithm tends to favor videos with strong engagement, if you feel this video has brought you value, a simple like and a quick subscribe would mean so much. It not only helps this message reach more people who need it, but also ensures you will never miss the next video that could make a difference in your journey. Thanks all.